Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. We're doing a update video today on this new agroforestry project that we have on the lower part of our farm. So you can see we've made a good bit of progress here. We've got some jack beans, some pigeon pea as our kind of main cover crops, and we've got bananas and going all the way down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bananas. And these are the standard apple bananas here that can get pretty tall. I've seen them close to 20 feet. Huge round, quote unquote, trunks, wider than a foot in diameter. And so these are going to be really great for using as that nice irrigating mulch after the rainy season when they soak up all the water. We'll cut them down and then we'll just lay them down in our growing rows here. And so as you may have seen in previous videos, we've got some sticks holding the place of future fruit trees. This is going to be mainly ulu or breadfruit, longan, and soursop down here, kind of alternated. And so as you go down the rows, I'll walk down in a second, but basically it's banana, then a stick for the fruit tree, banana, stick for the fruit tree. The fruit trees are spaced 20 feet apart, so these bananas are, about 10 feet in between them. And then in between those, like I said, we've got the jack bean. We've got the pigeon peas going around the fruit trees. I really like this system because by the time I get these fruit trees put in, the pigeon peas are kind of bushy and robust, create a little bit of shade, kind of reduce any transplant shock. Of course, they're pumping in nitrogen. And then as the fruit tree gets a little bit bigger, we'll cut that down and use the pigeon pea to mulch around the fruit tree. We've also seeded in here some Hispania sespen, which, here's a little one. So they're very tiny at this point. And these are great too. Another nitrogen fixer that will get a little woodier, grow really fast, up to, I've got some that have pushed maybe 15 feet in a year. And they're kind of nice, dappled, light shade. And the other thing we've got mixed in here is the moringa. So we'll see how it does. I've had very mixed results from different locations on the farm. Sometimes it does great, sometimes not so great. So there's another moringa. And these bananas are doing pretty well. Right after we put them in, we had about 2 weeks straight of pretty ridiculous wind. And so considering that, some of them got blasted pretty good. But considering that, really not doing too bad. Some of the other features of the system, you can see we have plenty of grass. So this is guinea grass. It does get very, carbon heavy when you leave it for a while. You can see the bigger stuff back here and all the, more beige, carbony. It's almost, grab a little bit of this, it's almost like a thin bamboo at this point. And it makes a pretty good mulch because it stays around for a while. And the green, of course, add a little bit of nitrogen. So we've got plenty of that here. So we're certainly not going to plant any more grass. And then we've got down here Tithonia. So these are spaced about 5 feet apart and in a kind of a hedge. And they're doing okay. I did end up irrigating them, thankfully, because there's no way I would have been able to keep up with the watering. It's been so dry. So they're all leafing out at this point. Mostly, I may have to replace a few of them. Didn't make it, but that will be great because eventually we'll have a whole line of Tithonia, which we can come in regularly, prune that with the machete, dump it onto the fruit tree row, and then we can come in with probably going to have to use a weed whacker in between here, So we'll take out the guinea grass, pile that up on top of the Tithonia, and that'll be kind of our, ongoing mulching biomass system. So what else? Right here you can see another row of the Tithonia. So that's going out there as well. And those are planted all the way down. It's about 30 plants in each row. So that's a lot of biomass right there. And then in the middle, we've got the grass, of course, but also every 20 feet, I've planted ice cream bean by seed, most of which I don't think are coming up quite yet. Let's move the dog's ball. But they are close. I've seen a couple of them coming up, but I don't see any signs of anyone here. And I don't have these irrigated yet, so I'll just come through and add a little water here and there. But ice cream beans tend to be pretty resilient, hardy, and just kind of pop up on their own when they're ready here. So this is kind of the formula, the way we have this, and we're just going to repeat about 20 feet down. And so this little area down here is going to end up having 3 rows. Each row will have about 6 or 7 fruit trees in it, and all the bananas. These middle rows, I'd like to add some papaya early on, and then eventually, as you may have seen in our previous video where we kind of did the layout design for this, we'll have the cacao in the middle there as well once we have a lot more shade from those ice cream beans. And so yeah, it'll be fruit tree row, Tithonia row, ice cream beans, Tithonia, fruit tree, Tithonia, ice cream beans, Tithonia, fruit trees, going all the way down. And I'm pretty stoked. So we got the first row kind of on its way. Got all the irrigation in. The fruit trees themselves are doing good. I'm growing soursop and longan from seed. Those are looking good, about 6-inch plants now. The ulus, I'm doing air layers off of the grafted, or not the grafted, but the named varieties that I have here. And most of those I think will be ready to go in as we get back towards the wet season, late fall, heading into winter. So I believe that's it for now. We're going to just continue. I guess I didn't mention, but the jack bean, once it starts to flower, we'll probably actually prune that back. Let the moringa keep going, get the Sesbania sesbin going. The pigeon pea will stay for a while. That'll be kind of how we manage this system. And some of the jack bean will survive and pop back, and that's great. Some of it won't. But the idea is that kind of agroforestry succession where the next things come up. I don't think I'm going to stack too many other crops in here. I know that that's like a popular thing to get some crop out of your rows when they're in this young stage. You could do like cassava, sweet potato, tomatoes, corn, like there's all kinds of possibilities. But that's a lot of extra work for me because I've already got a lot of those crops on other areas of the farm. I kind of got my hands full managing all that. So really this design down here, it's a succession design, but it's one that's really focused on biomass succession and soil health and really just getting everything improved and getting some shade going so that once these fruit trees go in, they're going to have like a really healthy ecosystem around them. It's going to start to feel a little bit more like a forest. So yeah, like I said, stoked about that. We'll keep you updated if anything interesting happens out here. Otherwise, we'll kind of get you an update once the stuff grows up a little bit more, or once we start managing it or reproducing these rows. So we appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time at Ina Bear Farm. Aloha.